once you get to know somebody, you can always find some sort of commonality. So musicians, pretty much, you just tell them what key to go into. And there's a disintegration going on that we really have to address. And our values have been lessened to a great degree. VH1's been pretty cool, they don't show.
Before he died, Prince left behind a vault filled with music. But buried beneath those recordings was something far more disturbing. 6 names, 6 men. 6 stories the industry has spent decades pretending never happened. These weren't rivals or collaborators. They were the artists Prince trusted most, the ones who shaped his sound, his image, and his heart, before each one left a wound he carried until the end. From the childhood friend erased from history, to the protege destroyed by rumors, to the spiritual mentor who controlled his every move, to the rising star who replaced him. Every relationship hit a scandal, a betrayal, or a secret Prince refused to speak publicly. For years, fans whispered, reporters hinted, insiders denied everything. But the pattern was always there. Tonight, we open the hidden files of the Purple One and reveal the 6 artists Prince once loved, trusted, or protected, and how each one broke him in a different way. 1. André Cymone, the childhood friend who became a silent enemy. They say every great artist has one name they refuse to speak aloud. For Prince, that name was André Cymone. Before the fame, before the purple lights, before the world learned to whisper the word genius, there were only 2 boys sharing a cramped bedroom in North Minneapolis. It was the mid-1970s, a winter that felt endless, a neighborhood that seemed frozen in time, and 2 teenagers who believed music was their only escape route out of poverty. Prince slept near the window, André near the door. No money, no heat, no future, except the one they swore they would build together. And that's where the rumors began. Even today, old fans still whisper that the bond between Prince and André was too close, too intense, too intimate for teenage boys. Some say the 2 were inseparable to the point of obsession, writing songs on the same mattress, rehearsing for hours until their fingertips bled, finishing each other's sentences, and disappearing from school for entire afternoons. Others recall seeing them walk home in the snow, sharing a single coat, huddled together for warmth. Nothing was ever confirmed. Nothing was ever denied. But everyone saw the chemistry. Everyone felt the electricity. By 1976, André had become more than Prince's best friend. He was his anchor, his mirror, his earliest collaborator. When Prince recorded his first demos, André was there. When Prince doubted himself, André was the one who pushed him forward. When Prince formed his first bands, André played bass, slept on rehearsal floors, and endured the same hunger that shaped Minneapolis sound from the ground up. And yet, as Prince's talent exploded, something darker began creeping into the friendship. Prince was evolving faster, writing quicker, producing more aggressively, demanding absolute control. André, equally gifted, struggled with the imbalance. Some bandmates claimed André felt overshadowed, robbed of the spotlight he helped create. Others said André quietly feared Prince was absorbing not only the music they made together, but pieces of his identity. By 1979, tension simmered beneath every rehearsal. Prince was now the emerging star of Warner Brothers. André was still in the background, still in the shadows, still introduced as Prince's friend rather than an artist in his own right. Minneapolis insiders spoke of unspoken jealousy, of late-night arguments behind closed studio doors, of hurt feelings neither young man knew how to articulate. But the crack didn't truly split until 1981, the infamous breaking point. That year, Prince reshaped the revolution, tightening the circle, redesigning the image of Minneapolis sound. According to longtime engineers, this was when Prince began removing André's fingerprints from the narrative. Early demos where André's bass lines once roared were re-recorded, credits shifted, histories rewritten. By the time controversy hit the charts, Andre's role in Prince's origin story had faded to a footnote. Some say this was a strategic choice, others say it was personal. Andre himself later stated that Prince took my style, my clothes, my energy, my attitude, and presented it as his own. He never accused Prince of malice, but the resentment was unmistakable. The wounded pride of a young artist watching the boy he once loved, in whatever form that love existed, disappear into stardom without him. And that's where the second wave of rumors grew. Fans claimed the rupture wasn't only artistic, but emotional. That the closeness the two shared in the 70s became a source of pain, betrayal, and silent rivalry. That Andre felt Prince abandoned their bond. That Prince felt Andre resented his success. That both men carried heartbreak neither would ever discuss publicly. When Andre left Prince's band in 1981, it wasn't explosive. It wasn't public. It was quiet, painfully quiet. No farewell, no reconciliation, no later collaborations. Two boys who once shared a bed, a dream, and a future simply cut ties and never looked back. Prince, who famously forgave many enemies, never extended that grace to Andre. Andre, who helped Prince survive the darkest years of adolescence, never returned to Paisley Park. They lived entire adult lives only miles apart, but never crossed paths again. In the mythology of Prince, a man who weaponized silence, secrecy, and reinvention, the erasure of Andre Simone stands out as one of the deepest wounds. The friend who helped build him, the collaborator who shaped him, the partner who once knew every part of him, and then became a ghost. Some say Prince removed Andre from history out of anger. Others say it was out of shame. A few believe it was heartbreak, pure, irreversible heartbreak. Whatever the truth, one thing is certain. Of the 6 men who shaped Prince's private darkness, Andre Simone was the first and the one he never forgave. 2. Morris Day. The partner who turned into a rival. If Prince's first wound came from childhood, the second came wrapped in spotlight, ego, sweat, and betrayal. The story of Prince and Morris Day didn't begin in fame. It began in late 1979, inside a basement studio on France Avenue in Minneapolis, where the winter air froze the walls and the smell of burnt circuitry mixed with the heat of cheap amplifiers. Morris stood behind the drum kit, Prince behind the console, both in their early 20s, both hungry, both convinced they were building something the world was not ready to understand. What fans never saw was the intensity between them, the complicated closeness, the artistic tension, the strange chemistry that flickered every time they shared a studio. Rumors started almost immediately. That Prince shaped Morris in ways that went beyond music, that their bond was too personal, too charged, too territorial for 2 young men rising in the same city. Nothing was confirmed, but the energy between them was undeniable. By February 1981, Prince had created the band that would become Morris Day's vehicle, The Time. The deal was shocking even then. Prince wrote the songs, produced the tracks, played most instruments, and handed Morris the microphone as the face of the project. Insiders called it Pygmalion in Purple. Morris became the swaggering, outrageous, hypersexual frontman. But the voice behind him was Prince. This dynamic created a storm waiting to erupt. Bandmates recalled that Prince monitored everything: Morris's stage moves, his outfits, his hair, even the way he held his cigarette. During rehearsals in April 1981, Prince reportedly stopped an entire session because Morris nodded his head the wrong way. The tension simmered. Morris felt controlled, Prince felt copied. Minneapolis became a battlefield of 2 egos shaped from the same fire. By 1982, during the creation of What Time Is It?, something darker crept into their relationship. Studio logs showed late-night sessions where Prince locked the doors, ordering everyone out except Morris. Technicians outside the hall claimed they heard arguments, muffled shouts, chairs scraping, and Prince's voice cracking with rage not heard anywhere else. The public saw glamour. Behind the scenes, the time was becoming a pressure cooker. Then the rumors escalated. Fan circles whispered that Morris and Prince's connection had turned personal again, too close, too private, and that when Prince pulled away emotionally, Morris responded with arrogance and defiance. Whether true or not, the gossip spread fast in the Minneapolis scene, and both men felt it. Everything exploded in March 1983 during a rehearsal for the 1999 tour. Prince demanded that Morris perform a routine exactly as he choreographed it, down to the angle of his jaw. Morris refused. Witnesses described the room as radioactive. Prince, shouts us, stepped forward. Morris stepped closer. Two protégés turned rivals, inches apart, vibrating with anger. No punches were thrown, but everyone knew something snapped that day. After that rehearsal, Prince banned cameras backstage, stopped speaking directly to Morris during shows, and began writing songs with lyrics that insiders believed were aimed at him. But the most shocking chapter arrived in 1984 during the filming of Purple Rain. What the public didn't know is that the rivalry in the film wasn't acting. It was real. Every insult, every glare, every mocking gesture carried years of buried resentment. Crew members recalled that Prince refused to rehearse scenes with Morris, showing up only when the camera rolled. Morris, equally furious, arrived late, ignored instructions, and improvised lines that enraged Prince. Production diaries from June 14, 1984, noted that the energy between them was volatile, unpredictable, dangerous to the crew's morale. One assistant claimed she saw Prince slam a door so hard the frame cracked. Another remembered Morris throwing a prop across the green room after Prince corrected his wardrobe. More rumors followed. Some swore they saw Prince confront Morris in a dark hallway, gripping his shirt collar. Others whispered that Morris threatened to quit unless Prince stopped interfering with his performance. No one knew what truly happened in those shadowed corners of the Minneapolis soundstage. But one thing was clear: the relationship was breaking beyond repair. When Purple Rain premiered on July 27, 1984, the critics praised Morris Day as the film's secret weapon. Prince, who had built him from scratch, watched the world fall in love with the man he once controlled. The jealousy wasn't theatrical anymore. It was real, raw, and devastating. Days after the premiere, Morris vanished from the Minneapolis scene. He didn't return calls, didn't show up to sessions, reportedly left town without a goodbye, and Prince erased him. Press kits removed Morris's early credits. Interviews avoided his name. Production files quietly shifted authorship of key creative decisions. Prince, who once shaped Morris into his stage reflection, now rewrote history with a scalpel. What had begun as a partnership, maybe even a strange friendship, had devolved into cold, calculated silence. By 1985, the two men were miles apart, geographically, professionally, emotionally. Prince was a global icon. Morris was drifting. And Minneapolis whispered its final rumor that whatever bond once connected them had transformed into something poisonous, unspoken, and destined to stay buried in the vault Prince left behind. For Prince, Morris Day wasn't just a rival. He was the second wound, the one carved in public, but felt in private forever. 3. Tevin Campbell, the prodigy whose rumors nearly destroyed him. The third wound in Prince's hidden files didn't come from a rival or an old friend. It came from a boy he believed he could shape into the future. When Prince first crossed paths with Tevin Campbell in 1989, the industry whispered that he had found his next prodigy, someone with the ethereal sweetness of a choir boy and the vocal power to stand beside the greatest soul singers alive. But almost immediately, a darker kind of whisper followed. That Prince's mentorship was too close, too private, too intense, and that something about their bond didn't look like ordinary artist development. Nothing was ever proven, but the rumors nearly destroyed them both. By the summer of 1990, Prince had brought the teenage Campbell into Paisley Park, The labyrinthine studio complex, where walls were covered with purple lights, incense burned through the hallways, and cameras never documented what happened after midnight. Engineers noticed that Prince cleared the entire staff from Studio B whenever Tevin arrived. Prince wrote songs specifically for him, taught him phrasing, rearranged band rehearsals so Tevin could observe him up close. To outsiders, it looked like a master training his successor. To those on the inside, it looked like something far more delicate and far more dangerous forming in the shadows. Then came April 1991, the month that changed everything. A Los Angeles tabloid published a vague, insinuating story claiming that a major male pop star had taken an unusual personal interest in a young male protege. They never printed a name, but everyone knew who they meant. The rumor moved through radio stations, record label offices, and the underground club scene like gasoline on concrete. Suddenly, every move Prince made with Tevin was scrutinized. Every studio session became suspect. Every compliment Prince gave the boy was twisted, exaggerated, corrupted. People who had never met either of them spoke with a confidence they'd never earned. Prince was furious, but not at the press. He was furious at the betrayal inside his circle. Someone had leaked the story. Insiders pointed to a disgruntled tour employee fired months earlier. Others blamed a competing producer jealous of Prince's influence. A few went even further, whispering that Tevin's mother, overwhelmed by the chaos of the music industry, had confided in the wrong people. Regardless of the source, the damage was immediate. Executives warned Prince to step back, PR teams quietly distanced them, and radio programmers questioned whether a teenage boy linked to such rumors could survive the backlash. But Prince refused to abandon him. Footage from May 1991 shows the two slipping into Paisley Park long after midnight, both wearing sunglasses, both moving quickly as if avoiding a predator. Engineers later said that Prince worked with a level of protectiveness they had never seen before. He refused to let Tevin travel alone. He supervised every recording session. He demanded total privacy, often locking the doors, while he coached Tevin through harmonies. And that only worsened the gossip. By 1993, the rumors had grown so toxic that Tevin's label forced him to create a more mature image, trying to bury the past under leather jackets, sexualized lyrics, and photo shoots designed to erase the innocent boy Prince once mentored. But the industry has a long memory and a crueler imagination. Every interview Tevin gave was dissected. Every pause became a confession. Every compliment he gave Prince was framed as admission. Even worse, Prince himself began to retreat, not out of guilt, but out of anger. He felt the industry had taken something pure and twisted it into a weapon. Meanwhile, Tevin's emotional state deteriorated. People close to him said he would burst into tears after rehearsals. Others said he was terrified of answering questions about Prince, terrified that a single phrase taken out of context would revive the storm. Some claimed that Tevin begged Prince to let him go, to stop mentoring him, because the pressure had become unbearable. By 1994, the bond that had once seemed destined to define the next era of R&B was shattered. Prince stopped writing for him. Tevin stopped visiting Paisley Park. Their final collaboration, a song recorded quietly in late 1994, never saw release. To this day, it remains locked somewhere in Prince's vault, a remnant of a relationship destroyed not by either man, but by the industry that insisted on defining it for them. When Tevin later came out publicly, years after Prince's death, fans revisited the rumors of the early 1990s with a new lens. Some saw tragedy, some saw irony, some saw prophecy. But those who had been there, the engineers, the dancers, the assistants, insisted on the same thing, that Prince loved Tevin as an artist, protected him fiercely, and was devastated when the world turned their bond into scandal. In Prince's story, Tevin Campbell wasn't just a protege who slipped away. He was the third wound, a reminder that even the purest mentorship could be destroyed by the darkest corners of fame. 4. Larry Graham, the spiritual mentor who took control. They say every superstar eventually bows to something greater than fame. But for Prince, what he bowed to wasn't God alone. It was the man who taught him how to fear him. And that man was Larry Graham. The transformation began quietly in late 1997, at a time when Prince was drifting spiritually after his battle with Warner Brothers and the collapse of his first marriage. He was searching for something, meaning clarity, salvation. And that's when Larry stepped in. To outsiders, he was just the legendary bassist of Sly and the Family Stone. To Prince, he became a guide, a father figure, a spiritual architect who promised to rebuild him from the inside out. And that promise came with a cost no one saw coming. By January 1998, Prince had begun visiting Larry regularly in Minneapolis, sometimes showing up at his home late at night for hours of closed-door conversations. Neighbors recalled seeing lights burning until dawn. Assistants noted Prince returning to Paisley Park unusually quiet, as if he had been emptied and refilled with something heavier. The following month, Prince told close friends he was changing his path. What he didn't say was that Larry was the one drawing the map. In 1999, Prince officially embraced the Jehovah's Witness faith, with Larry as his primary mentor. But the shift wasn't simply religious, it rewired the entire structure of Prince's life. Crew members reported that he stopped speaking to longtime collaborators without explanation. Some were turned away from Paisley Park at the gate. Others said Prince suddenly cut them out of projects after years of loyalty. Almost all of them believed the same thing. This wasn't Prince making decisions. This was Larry's influence pushing him into isolation. The rumors grew darker in 2000, when Prince began canceling meetings because Larry didn't approve of the energy of certain people. Engineers claimed Prince wouldn't record certain songs unless Larry listened first. One assistant recalled that Prince threw away an entire album's worth of material because Larry said the lyrics were spiritually dangerous. Dancers who had worked with Prince since the Sign of the Times era said he stopped trusting his own instincts, choosing Larry's judgment over everyone else's. The man who once fought record labels, managers, and corporations without blinking was suddenly yielding to a single voice. And then came the intervention incident of April 2001, the story that Paisley Park veterans still whisper about. According to multiple staffers, Larry spent more than 5 hours inside Prince's private studio room, a space no one else was allowed to enter without invitation. When he finally emerged, Prince walked out behind him looking shaken, hollow-eyed, and strangely obedient. Within a week, 3 musicians were fired, 2 tours were reorganized, and Prince began restricting who could speak to him backstage. No one could prove what happened in that locked room. But for many, it marked the moment Prince stopped being merely guided and started being controlled. The whispers got heavier in 2002 when Prince began door-knocking with Larry for religious outreach, something unheard of for a global superstar. Fans claimed he showed up unannounced on porches across Minneapolis. Some laughed, some were stunned. Those closest to him felt something was wrong. Prince didn't just adopt Larry's beliefs, he adopted his mannerisms, his speech patterns, even his posture. Former associates said it was like watching someone slowly become a shadow of another man. By 2003, people began noticing Prince withdrawing from longtime female collaborators and avoiding any public behavior that Larry might disapprove of. Crew members said he rehearsed less, prayed more, and would suddenly stop mid-session if he felt he had disrespected the spirit. One engineer reported seeing Prince erase an entire guitar solo, one of his best, because Larry frowned when he heard the playback. Another said Prince donated tens of thousands of dollars quietly, anonymously, always in Larry's orbit. The relationship that shocked everyone unfolded in late 2004 when Prince turned down major collaborations, including a rumored project with Stevie Wonder, because Larry needed him for spiritual work. For the first time in decades, art no longer came first, and the world noticed. Prince's music shifted, his public appearances decreased, and interviews became cryptic. When reporters asked about his new spiritual identity, Prince's eyes would flicker with something unreadable, something tense. He praised Larry often, sometimes excessively, as if reinforcing a bond he couldn't break. By 2005, even fans sensed the shift. Forums filled with speculation about Larry's influence, calling him the puppeteer, the handler, the silent power behind the purple throne. Some believed he saved Prince. Others believed he consumed him. The truth stayed locked inside Paisley Park, sealed in the quiet obedience Prince showed whenever Larry entered the room. In Prince's hidden emotional archive, Larry Graham wasn't just a mentor. He was the fourth wound, the one that didn't bleed on the outside, but hollowed him out from within. 5. Frank Ocean. The mirror that haunted Prince. They say Prince never feared any man until the day he met someone who reminded him too much of himself. And for many inside the industry, that moment happened in August 2011, backstage at an unpublicized Los Angeles event, where Prince first came face-to-face with Frank Ocean. The encounter lasted less than 10 minutes, but whispers from that night became some of the most explosive rumors of Prince's final decade. By 2011, Frank Ocean had risen from anonymity to overnight sensation with Nostalgia, Ultra, released on February 16, 2011. Prince heard it privately weeks before the public did. One of his inner circle engineers claimed Prince locked himself in Studio C, listening to Novocaine on a loop. He reportedly stayed silent for nearly an hour, staring at the console like he had seen a ghost. Frank's falsetto, his emotional ambiguity, his refusal to label himself. Prince recognized all of it. Some insiders even swore. Prince muttered, "He moves the way I used to." The first unofficial meeting happened on August 23, 2011, during a private after-party in Laurel Canyon. Witnesses described something electric between them. Frank shy, soft-spoken, Prince watching him with a fascination people rarely saw from the Purple One. Rumors exploded instantly. Fan forums speculated Prince had taken an unusual interest in Frank. Others went further, claiming Prince was drawn to Frank the way he was drawn to nobody else in that era. The truth? Only the people in that dimly lit Hollywood house knew. But the tension was real enough that several attendees later said they felt the room changed temperature. Prince, who had spent decades redefining masculinity and sensuality, was suddenly confronted with a new kind of artist, one openly fluid, emotionally unguarded, unpredictable. And it shook him. The second meeting, according to an industry leak, happened on November 7, 2012, at the Chateau Marmont. Prince reportedly invited Frank for a private listening session, offering him 2 unreleased instrumentals. The rumor that set the internet on fire was this: Frank declined. He admired Prince but didn't want to be shaped, directed, or absorbed into another artist's vision. In other words, he refused something almost no young musician in history had ever refused: a chance to be mentored by Prince himself. Those close to Prince said he took the rejection harder than anyone expected. Prince wasn't used to hearing no, especially from someone he saw as a spiritual successor. Suddenly, the admiration turned into something sharper: obsession, competition, reflection. Prince monitored Frank's movements, streamed every performance, attended a July 2013 secret show in New York, masked and unannounced. His staff said his reactions were volatile, sometimes praise, sometimes contempt, often a strange mixture of both. Frank's revelation letter on July 4, 2012, where he publicly shared his love for a man, rattled Prince in a way few events ever had. It wasn't the queerness. Prince had long lived beyond labels. It was the freedom. Frank did openly what Prince never could without risking career suicide in the 80s and 90s. Frank walked into the fire and didn't flinch. Prince, watching from afar, reportedly shut himself inside Paisley Park's Studio X for 3 straight days after the letter went viral. A staffer later said, "He wasn't angry at Frank. He was angry at the world for letting Frank be what he could never be. Then came the alleged fallout. In 2014, Prince tried one last time to collaborate, sending a message through a mutual contact offering a track. Frank didn't respond. Whether out of fear, disinterest, or self-protection, no one knows. What is known is that Prince, feeling dismissed, began referring to Frank privately as the new era that forgot its past. Some called it jealousy, others called it heartbreak. Many believed it was Prince seeing his own legacy slipping into the hands of a younger artist who owed him nothing. The final blow came in 2016, 3 months before Prince's death. Frank Ocean was invited, but did not attend, a private performance Prince gave at a small Minneapolis church. For those in Prince's circle, that absence symbolized the end. Prince had extended an olive branch one last time, and Frank, intentionally or not, had declined again. Not with words, but with silence. In the private mythology of Prince's emotional world, Frank Ocean became something more than a peer. He became a reminder. A mirror Prince didn't want to look into. A version of himself unburdened by secrecy, free to move in ways he never could. The fifth wound wasn't betrayal or rivalry. It was the pain of seeing someone younger walk the path he carved without carrying his ghosts. 6. Miguel, the heir who walked away. If Frank Ocean was the reflection Prince feared, Miguel was the future Prince thought he could shape, and ultimately lost. By the time Prince's fascination with Frank had cooled into silence in 2014, another name had risen onto his private radar. Miguel, the R&B acrobat whose voice floated between silk and fire, whose stage presence carried a hint of Prince's sensual unpredictability, and whose fearless fusion of rock and soul made older musicians whisper, "He might be the one." Prince didn't just admire Miguel, he studied him. People inside Paisley Park said that in February 2014, Prince played Miguel's live performance of How Many Drinks, repeatedly, pausing the screen to observe tiny movements, the knee drops, the sudden falsetto shifts, the smoldering eye contact. He performs like he remembers every lifetime he's lived, Prince reportedly told a technician that month. And for the first time since the early 2000s, Prince felt the spark of mentorship returning. The first approach happened quietly. On June 19, 2014, after a BET-related rehearsal in Los Angeles, Prince sent a message backstage asking Miguel to visit Paisley Park for a creative exchange. For a rising artist like Miguel, the invitation was a coronation. But what happened next twisted the story into a darker rumor that still circulates online. According to multiple insiders, Prince didn't simply want to collaborate. He wanted Miguel under his artistic wing, the way he once shaped Morris Day, Sheila E., and Vanity. And that level of intensity in the new R&B era felt suffocating. Miguel visited Paisley Park only once on September 4, 2014, arriving around 10:42 p.m. CCTV footage reportedly showed Prince waiting for him at the door, dressed fully in black, already vibrating with creative possibilities. They spent nearly 4 hours in Studio C. Engineers claimed Prince dominated the session, controlling lights, adjusting microphones without asking, instructing Miguel to sing certain lines, "The Purple Way," a phrase Miguel allegedly found confusing and uncomfortable. The whispers grew louder when Miguel left the studio looking pale, exhausted, and unusually quiet. What exactly happened inside those hours is still a mystery, but one assistant swore Miguel said, "I can't be someone else's blueprint." Prince, sensing Miguel's reluctance, pressed harder. Over the next year, he sent fragmented instrumental ideas, long philosophical voice notes, and handwritten spiritual messages. Miguel responded graciously, but distantly. To Prince, distance felt like rejection. By March 2015, Prince had stopped approaching politely. One of Miguel's producers told a reporter off-record that Prince demanded Miguel scrap nearly half of his ongoing album Wild Heart because the sound was too Hollywood, too synthetic, and not built to last. Miguel, respectful but firm, refused. And for Prince, refusal wasn't simply disagreement. It cracked open the old wound he carried from protégés past. Morris Day, Vanity, Carmen Electra, even Tevin Campbell, the ones who wouldn't let him mold them. Then came June 28, 2015, the night Miguel performed at the BET Awards, wearing a shimmering violet jacket suspiciously reminiscent of Prince's 1984 silhouette. Fans loved it. Twitter exploded. But Prince's circle felt the temperature shift. Instead of feeling honored, Prince saw it as imitation without allegiance, a torch being carried incorrectly. According to one of Prince's sound engineers, he muttered, "He likes my shadow, but not my hand." The breaking point arrived in early 2016, just months before Prince's death. Miguel was invited to play a secret show at Paisley Park on February 3, 2016, a private gathering Prince curated to test Miguel's willingness to collaborate. Miguel declined, sending a polite message citing schedule conflicts. Prince didn't believe it. He interpreted the decline as disrespect. His staff recalled him walking through Studio X that night in a fury, switching off equipment, pacing like a man betrayed by someone he had already anointed as successor. When Prince died on April 21, 2016, Miguel posted a heartfelt tribute. But people who knew the deeper story felt an ache behind the words, a recognition that Prince wanted Miguel to be something more than a colleague, something closer to a torchbearer. And Miguel, protective of his identity, refused to be shaped or consumed by another legend's mythology. In Prince's hidden catalog of emotional scars, Miguel was the sixth wound, not a betrayer, not a rival, but a reminder that the world he built was no longer the world younger artists needed. Prince left behind more than a vault of music. He left a trail of mysteries, 6 men who shaped him, challenged him, mirrored him, and wounded him in ways the public never knew. From childhood friends to rising stars, each story reveals a different side of the Purple One. The genius, the mentor, the seeker, the man haunted by connections that never resolved. Now the question passes to you. Which of these 6 stories felt the most shocking? And which one do you think Prince carried with him until the end? Tell me your theory in the comments. If you want more hidden files, backstage secrets, and dark history the industry tried to erase, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and join us for the next investigation.